For nearly an entire calendar year, Wells Fargo Arena in downtown Des Moines sat empty. And with it, the hearts of Iowa Wild fans, staff, and players sat empty as well.
At some point during the last year, we were like, are we going to play again? It's as you get older, you never know when it's going to be your last year.
When the AHL made its triumphant return on February 5th, 2021, it brought back all those familiar feelings many of us had almost forgotten. The last-ditch effort saves.
Twisted free with a shot, rebound chance, and a glove saved by Barabo stretching across the
bitter taste of defeat.
Wanted to shoot, didn't, and jammed one in front, and they score.
And the jubilation of an overtime victory.
Handed it to Beckman, left circle with a shot, he scored!
But that's not all that came with this year's American Hockey League season.
It's the only place that we can see our teammates this year. You can't go out, you can't go to lunch, you can't do a lot of things that you usually do.
This is the story behind the story of how the season that almost wasn't became a season we'll never forget. Cole Harding is in his second season as an assistant athletic trainer with the Iowa Wild. New to his plate and to the plate of all AHL clubs this year is the role of COVID-19 officer.
There is no way to anticipate that this is what I would be doing as an athletic trainer at any point in my life. We've been starting our days a little earlier this year. We've been screening our entire team with team and all AHL personnel with daily PCR testing, daily COVID testing. So we've been up at 7 a.m. to start testing. Then we ship those tests out to a local company, Cortiva Agriscience. So we prepare our team for practice. We try to limit the amount of time we're around each other. Obviously, we're in PPE, we're in masks, gloves when we need to. Practice is very similar to what it's always been. The difference is we're in PPE now. Most of our guys are out the door by 2 or 3 every day. That's usually when our results come in.
And with those results come either the end of Harding's workday or just the beginning.
If we do end up having someone coming up with a positive result in our screening, that doesn't necessarily mean they have COVID. So we don't assume right away that they have it, but we have to take the necessary steps to isolate that person, to contact trace through interviews, say that person did have a confirmation test that were to confirm that they were sick. So that usually will take up some time to work through our entire team, and then from there on out, we close up shop and obviously prepare for the next day.
COVID protocols have impacted job roles and regimen all over the hockey operations ladder, even as high up as the head coach. Tim Army is another major role player in managing the Wild's safe environment. From masking himself and his staff, even during practice, to virtual team meetings, Army has stayed diligent. But the third-year bench boss of the Wild says road trips have kept him up at night most.
You're concerned as you approach that, because when you look some other teams around the three leagues, the NHL, the American League, and the ECHL, a lot of teams seem to get it on the road. That seems to be where it hits, because somebody may get it, you may not know it yet, just go by, we're testing every day. But on the plane or on the bus is where it can really spread, because you're in a really, really tight environment. And that's another element. So now we take 2 buses, and we can't sit next to each other. So we're staggered by aisle seat, a window seat, and by rows. And so it's all staggered. Hotel rooms, we're trying to get singles when we can. If not, it's roommates, or it's someone that's had it, that hasn't had it, that's rooming together.
Road trips in pro hockey have historically played a huge role in team bonding. With all of the restrictions on in-person player gatherings, the team has had to be inventive in order to make sure inclusion is felt by all.
I'm social butterfly, usually on the road and room hopping and trying to see my teammates. And this year's a little more stay in your room, not hang out with everybody. But we have kind of a team group chat that we're in, and that's always firing on all cylinders. And then it's nice to be able to FaceTime. We FaceTime 9 or 10 guys at a time, and while it gets hectic, it's pretty fun to sit there and laugh with each other, at least communicate on the road somewhat.
We're pretty fortunate. We found this app, I guess, where you can kind of all. It's kind of done through Zoom or something like that, through some sort of FaceTime where we're all kind of on the screen talking to each other, and then it's just regular poker.
No, I am terrible with anything that involves technology. Like I can barely text with my phone, so it's I'm just an old school guy. I'll just turn on the TV and watch something.
For old school players like Dumont or veteran forward Cody McLeod, the element of being away and quarantined from their wives and children is something most of their younger AHL teammates aren't dealing with.
And I know it's tough, and lots of guys, lots of coaches don't have their families here right now, but right now our family's a team, and I've been lucky enough to play for a long time, and if I can pass on some information and help them to get to the next level, that's part of my job.
People don't think about that enough, that where my wife is at home with 2 kids, alone, every single day, so she's making most sacrifice for me to play, so I gotta be grateful for that.
Grateful is something all of us here in Iowa have felt at one point or another this season. And that the sport we love watching, playing, coaching, or broadcasting can't be taken for granted.
And maybe more than anything, just not taking, hockey and the sport and your job for granted. You go 11 months or 10 months without doing what you love, without doing what you're used to doing. It's definitely a time to reflect and an opportunity to kind of look back on things and get ready for when it comes again, right?
I'm very proud of our guys because I haven't heard them complain once about anything. And and we're grateful to be playing, and we have it great.
You don't play for the money, you play for the love of the game, and just getting the opportunity to play, it's exciting, and you want to be here every day, and you don't take it for granted this year, that's for sure.
Reporting for the Iowa Wild from Des Moines, I'm Ben Gislason.